Ready to retire? Planning on retirement? What are the biggest decisions you've got to get right in order to retire successfully? I've got those 4, that and more coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. Retirement is the biggest financial decision that you're going to make in your life. And making that enormous decision, what are the really big decisions within it that you've got to get right in order to have a successful retirement? You want to retire just once. Trust me, you do. Many people, maybe have the skill set or maybe they desire once they retire to say, you know what, I still like what I do, or I want to do something different or whatever, and that's fine. But you want to be able to retire just once and doing so successfully. So what are the big decisions? Well, there's 5 factors to your retirement plan, and think of these as decisions. They're all interrelated that when you analyze them, overlap to say, well, can you retire with confidence? I'm going to share those 5 at the end of the content. But within retirement, this big decision, and as we've looked at, as we've helped thousands of people go from their career into retirement successfully, what are the biggest decisions within that big decision of retirement that you need to get right? Well, there's 4 of them. The first one is the obvious one. The big decision, the first big decision within retirement is, when are you going to retire? When are you going to retire? This decision really drives the bus and drives all of the other choices and big decisions as well. Working, and this is something we've shared, most people underestimate the importance of the exact timing of when they retire. Retiring just 1 year later, so working just 1 extra year, can mean a significant amount of difference, make a significant difference in your overall financial confidence, in your retirement confidence. So being done at 65 or being done at 67 or being done at 63, that is an enormous decision. Now, recognize that you have choice here, but you might not have full choice depending on your situation. You might say, my plan is to work until 63, but you might have a health issue that means you've got to retire at 61 or 62. A family member might have a health issue that causes you to retire sooner. One of the obvious ones is as you're reaching that retirement age, likely your folks are in their later stages of life and might need care or need assistance or need help. It's at least once a year that we are working with some folks and they choose, I've got to retire earlier, a couple years earlier, because this is a time period where my folks need assistance and need care, and I need to be there for them. So I'm close enough to my retirement age, I'm going to be done so I can care for them. And then the final part of when you're going to be done that isn't in your control is, there could be a layoff or employment change with your company, whether that is hey, we're just cutting jobs, which it's hard to imagine in this economy, but it is happening again. We went through about 3 years where that didn't happen much at all, where there were layoffs and those sorts of things. But also, we see people that, hey, I intend to work until I'm 65, but their company is changing so much, so rapidly, either the technology or the systems, that, a couple years earlier, they're feeling like, I can't keep up anymore. I need to retire. So number 1, the biggest decision that you're going to make within retirement is when you're going to be done, when you're going to retire. Note that you have a lot of control over it, but you don't have ultimate control. There's other forces at work. Second biggest decision that you get to make within retirement is when you're going to draw Social Security. When you're going to draw Social Security. And I know emotionally you want to draw it as early as possible. And here's why. You've been paying into the system from your very first paycheck and every paycheck, and there's no guarantees. So you've taken all my money, government, give it back to me. Start giving it back to me. That's one. And then, kind of connected to that, there's the Social Security system is on thin ice, or we know that there's a reform coming. And listen, I don't like that uncertainty. Again, I've given you all this money my entire career. Start giving it back to me. So I get those reasons. Those are real. Those are valid. When you draw your Social Security, influences how much of it you get. Right? How much of it you get. If you retire early, say 62, and you turn on Social Security right away, you are voluntarily getting a reduction in your Social Security. It is a pretty significant reduction as well. Versus, well, even if I retire at 62, let me come up with a different income plan, and I'll delay my Social Security until X date and allow it to grow, at 8% compound each year until I draw it. Or delaying it all the way until age 70. These are enormous decisions, guys, that have real implications. Thousands of dollars a month, and if you look at the numbers, hundreds of thousands of dollars over your entire retirement. That's the difference between drawing Social Security at one age versus another age. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. So this is an enormous decision. So how do you know when is the best time to draw for you? You need to work with your CFP, and they're going to help you optimize your Social Security drawing decision. Within our retirement planning process, there is an analysis as we're helping clients optimize their Social Security that shows here's if you draw it right away, here's if you wait until your full retirement age, here's if you wait until age 70. Let's look at these numbers. Let's look at the confidence rate of your overall retirement, depending on which one of these that we choose. And if you're not going to draw right away, what's your other income plan? Because many people do draw right away, and that's fine because it fits appropriately within their income plan. But doing that analysis with your certified financial planner, they're going to help you determine what's the best way to optimize Social Security for you. Third biggest decision in retirement is how you're going to draw Medicare. And you might say, how? It's not a question at all. It is. The biggest health insurance decision you're going to make in your life is at age 65 or when you retire, just depending on your situation, how you draw Medicare. Medicare is one word. Makes it sound like it's just one thing. It's not. You have a choice. You can go traditional Medicare, which is Medicare Part A, B, D, and a supplement, or you can go Medicare Advantage, which is Medicare Part C. And your friends or you've heard others, they still call it Medicare, but it's very different if you do traditional Medicare or Medicare Advantage, Medicare Part C. There's a different monthly cost in your premium. There's a different experience for out-of-pocket costs and copays and the deductibles and all that sort of stuff. So the point is, this is an enormous decision, lots of dollars at stake, and you're going to want to make this decision in a way that it's connected to your overall financial life and fit within your comprehensive financial plan and retirement plan. So is there one, people ask me this all the time, is there one that just is obviously better than the other? Is traditional Medicare better than Medicare Advantage? No, there isn't. It is circumstantial. It depends on your situation. Traditional Medicare costs more premium. However, when you use the insurance, there's less out-of-pocket, less copay. Medicare Advantage, it costs less premium, but when you use your insurance, it's more expensive. I have heard people, based on their situation, say just adamantly, I would never do Medicare Advantage. Traditional Medicare is the way to go. And I've heard others say, why would I ever do traditional Medicare because of how much it costs? I'd rather have the savings of Medicare Advantage. That's absolutely the way to go. Depends on your situation. You've got to make a comprehensive financial planning decision with that and see how this Medicare choice fits within your overall retirement. And then the fourth biggest decision that you make when you retire is how to structure your investments. I've talked about this a lot. This is one of the biggest mistakes people make at retirement is when you shift from climbing the mountain to climbing down the mountain, all of a sudden you need to start drawing dollars off of your investments, and the tendency is to completely change your investment approach and shift everything to low risk. Do you do that the moment you retire? No. When do you do that? The first downturn in the stock market once you retire. You look and you say, oh my goodness, my investments just dropped 15%. I can't afford to retire or stay retired with that sort of decline. I get that. I feel those emotions too. Thousands of people we've helped and kind of coached them through those emotions. I get it. They're very real. What's a different approach? Aligning your investment decisions with the timeline and time horizon of when you're going to use the dollars. Because the risk is early in retirement, I told you, typically this urge comes at the first decline or first big drop in the market once you retire. So likely in your early 60s. Well, you still have dollars when you're in your early 60s or mid 60s that you're not going to touch for 2 decades. Those dollars should be subject to the ups and downs of the market because over 20 years or the odds are significantly in your favor that those dollars will grow and appreciate. Therefore, at retirement, you need to build out and implement a wise and prudent investment approach. We call it a personal pension plan, where you're taking a look at your income strategy. How much income do you need to pull out of your investments each month? You take that monthly amount and set aside 2 to 3 years worth of that amount in a very low risk investment, short-term, low risk, appropriate for short-term dollars. Then you take another 3 to 5 years worth of those dollars in medium risk, or either in higher income producing or medium risk type investments. So those are not subject to the extreme ups and downs of the market. But then all of the other dollars, mathematically, you're not going to touch for 8, 10 years plus. Those dollars should be subject to the ups and downs of the market. And those dollars, therefore, should stay invested for your long term. So you want to have an investment approach at retirement and in retirement that is process driven as opposed to emotion driven. So those are the 4 big decisions that you're going to make, 4 biggest decisions in retirement. I told you there's 5 factors that determine your ability to retire with confidence. You'll see that these 4 decisions are all baked into these 5 factors. The first factor is, what age are you going to be done? Second is, how much you're going to be spending. So this is your Medicare decision in there, but as well as what inflation are you going to assume and what vacations and base spending. Income sources is the third factor. Yes, optimizing your Social Security is part of that. Fourth is, how much do you have saved up for investments? But then fifth is, how much risk are you comfortable taking with those investments? So what is your long-term investment strategy? Those 5 factors, they're all interdependent. You make a decision in one, it's going to impact your choices in the others. And then when you analyze those 5, that's going to tell you, are you on track for a confident retirement, or are there trade-offs that you need to make? Work with your CFP on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us here as well, or send us an email, info@korhorn.com. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.